The standard of human right forever and after should always be under a universal value and perspective. Indeed, it is true that every community and every individual has their own body autonomy, right, and personal sovereignty to decide what is best for them. Now, let's move on to my first point, whether or not retributive and rehabilitative approach is justifiable to endorse a positive new value to replace the previous negative value. From the early of human civilization, if the authority in a region would like to regulate a new law to ensure the welfare of the society and to ensure there is no more violation toward the human right of the society, then this authority should always take a mechanism of retributive sentence to emphasize the importance of this law to be obeyed for the sake of the society themselves. A new law with a very strong deterrent effect through its retributive mechanism process is only going to be enforced by the authority when the authority see that the implementation of certain activity in the society brings more harm than good for the providing of the society right of the society. This the authority feels that it needs to regulate regulation to ensure that this violation of human right towards the society will not going to happen again in the future. Now let's move on to my second point, whether or not the government should uphold a harmless rational decision by interfering when the society harm themselves, or should the government support a harmful irrational decision by deciding to just stay behind and grant the society's choice to harm their basic right? In that it is true that it is the society who has already chose the government, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the government should comply to every demand that is requested by the society. Now, if after getting this important information, but the daughter still choose to go walk on the street, then if you were the mother of this 18 years old, would you allow your daughter to have her personal choice to walk on the street just to be hit to death by some vehicles a couple of seconds later after she took some steps on the street? Or would you forbid her to go walk on the street and even has to use force by threatening to lock her in her room for some couples of days if she's still wanting to go walk on the that street rather than to go walk on the park? Now, let's move on to my third point, which model of proposal that would be in line and proportional to the principle of a democratic country, whether a standard of human rights protection that should be universal by ensuring generalization and equal treatment of value facilitation to all levels of society, or should a standard of human rights protection be relative to each individual by providing different treatment of value accommodation to each different society or individual? Each different individual and community has their own perspective of value. Sometimes their perspective of value is based on rational calculation, but sometimes it is based on irrational calculation. For example, traditional culture and religion. Fundamentally, the authority has no problem at all to grant traditional society to perform their culture that is based on irrationality, and neither do the authority has any problem with any religion believers whose belief is also on irrationality irrationality. Conclusion. To close my speech, I would like to ask this to all audience and the auditors. Do you prefer to be a society under a government who never even care about the protection of your own basic human right by allowing you to do any harmful activity toward yourself? Or you would like to be society under a government who care about the protection of your own basic human right. We believe that as a rational individual, you would like to choose a more benefiting rational proposal and leave a harmful proposal that is based on irrationality, and that is why we still proudly choose to support this motion, which is we should ban smoking.